right, Abby. So the love lost and found situation, was this you or your friend, or how does this go down?
God, I wish it was me, but it's not. And my friend thinks she may have found the love of her life on a plane, but it is up to us to decide whether or not she is actually going to follow through with finding this love lost. So this all happened last week when she was traveling for, I think, a wedding out in California. And of course, you get on the plane, you're kind of expecting like you're going to be stuck next to some like old couple and you're going to be like fighting for the armrest and it's not going to be a good time. Well, funnily enough, her flight had gotten delayed before she got on and she had sat at this bar, enjoyed herself a little beveragino, and noticed that there was a very handsome, very tall, very athletic looking man at the bar. And she's like, you know what? I really wish that guy was on my plane. I wish that type of guy would be somewhere in my vicinity because there's nothing better than having an airport crush. Because truly, like, the spiciest place on earth is looking at someone who's a solid 6 at the airport, because for some reason, everybody gets hotter when you are at the airport. So she sees this guy, she enjoys her beveragino, and then she goes to her gate. She notices, oh my God, homeboy is at my gate too. Like, oh my God, I wonder like if he's going to be like in the row near me. I wonder what's going to happen. So she gets on the plane. This guy sits right next to her. She sits next to the cute guy. She gets, I guess, like whatever happened in the universe, whenever she booked her flight and he booked his flight, they ended up sitting next to each other and just had a really great time, you know, chatting and talking about what each other does and their careers and when they went to college. And I guess he is from California or wherever. And so he's going to go visit family for the week for the holiday. And she's like, cool, I'm going to go for a wedding, blah, 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 blah. So they end up getting off the plane. He said, it was so lovely meeting you. By the way, my name is, we'll call him Dawson. My name's Dawson. And she's like, oh, my name's blah, blah, blah. And they just part their separate ways. They never exchange contact information despite the fact that they had like a 3-hour flight. So she gets in the car and she's like, oh my God, I think I just met the love of my life. And yet I don't know where I'm going to find him. So she sends out a message to the group chat. And she's like, okay, here's what I know about him. He's from blah, 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 California. And he went to blah, blah, blah university. And he works for blah, blah, blah tech company or whatever. Can we find this man? And then ding. Of course, women are like the FBI. Mm-hmm. We found him immediately. So she's looking at her phone and she's like, you know, I don't know how this is going to come off because we didn't exchange contact information. I just know his first name and like what he does for a living and where he's from. Do I follow, I being her, do I follow him on Instagram? Or is that going to come off across like I'm some kind of stalker? Because
so let's ask Mo here. If you're in this situation, you see that she follows you.
It's tough, right? Because it would literally all come down to my level of interest. Mm-hmm. You know, like if I'm interested, then I wouldn't see it as stalking at all. I'd be excited. I'd be happy that this is happening. But if I'm not interested, I'd see it as weird.
So weird. So that's the situation she's finding herself in, where it's like, okay, it would be so great if we could have just exchanged contact information and like we had known that there was that kind of mutual interest. But right now she's just playing off of vibes. She's like, I feel like the vibe was there. He gave me his name. We talked for, you know, a couple of hours. I feel like you're not going to talk to somebody for that long if you're not interested. But at the same time, like maybe he's just a nice dude.
I agree. But with that being said, right, the weirdest, let's say the worst happens, right? And she reaches out and he thinks it's weird and then life carries on and nothing comes. You don't lose anything.
You're never going to see this dude again.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
She wants to see this dude again.
That's why she should shoot.
Yeah. So everybody, of course, like we believe in love. So we're like, you have to follow him. We have to follow him. But I mean, when you're in that position, it just puts you in such a vulnerable place to be like, okay, now I'm kind of switching the dynamic of like, not that she's in the driver's seat, but now it's kind of like she's virtually pursuing him, and it's going to put her heart on the line of like, if he doesn't follow me back, then that means I've painted this entire story in my head that this guy and I were perfect for each other, and really he just got a little drunk off Fireball on her flight to California.
This is so typical right here. Mo and I are like, shoot your shot, big deal. You're never going to see the guy again. And she's like, but my instincts would be so far off because the chemistry and the connection was there, and I'll never find a man like him again.
How will I ever recover?
I know there's like 1,000 other finance bros who look exactly like him, but I was like, listen, when there's love in front of you, I think you need to take the chance. So I think I'm going to force her to make a decision today. So I will update you as to whether or not he ends up following her back.
Take the chance.
This is a no-brainer, right? She's got literally nothing to lose, except, again, because women think in a way more sophisticated way than guys do, that it's such more of a message for her about herself than it really is in real life.
So on Instagram, if you send if you do the follow and he doesn't follow back, No, that's Facebook with the friend request, and he would have to accept. But with this, if is he private? Like, is he going to have to accept her request?
He's private, so he's going to have to accept the request. So you're going to know if he sees it or not.
So if he does, like, how long? So what is the time period? Because at a certain point, you need to rescind said request if he hasn't accepted. Correct?
I would not. I would send one, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And you would just leave it there for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same.
Oh no, I can't.
See, the more you do that, now it's getting creepy.
Yeah.
Let me follow you. Let me follow you. Let me follow you.
So, and she's sure he's single.
I told her, this was my vibe. I'm like, listen, a man, unless he's cheating on somebody, a man is not going to talk to you for 2 hours on a flight unless he is romantically interested in you and single. So I'm like, if he is in a relationship, he's looking to get out of it. That's my opinion. So we don't know because he's private. She's going to have to follow him to find out. But I think the vibes are there. I was like, I believe in love. I'm putting this out there for you. So we'll know this week.
The Bert Show.